Shiba Inu has seen a complete transformation. No one anticipated this. Not long ago, Donald Trump released the year's greatest bombshell. A crypto regulation that everyone despises has been repealed. Experts are making assumptions. Will this force Shiba Inu to eliminate some zeros at last? Is this anything else though? Alright, let me clarify. Welcome to Dr. Crypto, your daily serving of Shiba. This is the spot for you if you're curious about anything related to Shiba. If you want to keep informed about all the latest news forecasts and stay ahead of the crypto industry, subscribe. To get more SHIB news, be sure to click the like button. Please note that by the time you see this video, some rates may have changed. Financial advice is not included in this video. A huge declaration made by Donald Trump lately is already causing a stir. He said that he intends to do away with a government regulation that is disliked by everyone in the cryptocurrency industry. Investors have always found this regulation to be a pain. Additionally, it may be leaving soon. Initially, many were perplexed. How in the world is this related to Shiba Inu? Here's the problem, however. Everything could be related to it. Indeed, removing this regulation would make it possible for far more investors to support Shiba Inu. And take this. Here Shiba Inu is more than just a sideline currency. Actually, it's in a great position to gain from this as if it had been predestined. Right now, something significant is undoubtedly happening. And yes, we will quickly go over all the important points. However, let's start with the basics. Recently, the price of Shiba Inu was quite erratic. Throughout the day, the price continued to fluctuate. In fact, it ended on the positive note at the conclusion of the day. And just that is bringing genuine optimism to the neighborhood. Shiba Inu is now occupying a very significant position, according to one observer. It's hovering very close to a crucial level, he says. A significant bullish breakthrough might be triggered if this level is breached. Furthermore, Shiba Inu may strive for a much higher price if that occurs. First, achieving the next goal that everyone is aiming for. Additionally, if the momentum continues, it may push deeper into the next large zone. This is when things get crazy. We are seeing a number of consequences as a result of the Trump declaration. We are all thrilled now. Why even bother with this Donald Trump news? A few months ago, Donald Trump signed the first ever laws specifically pertaining to cryptocurrency into law, marking a historic occasion for the industry. This new regulation does away with a restriction that many cryptocurrency enthusiasts detested. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, was essentially treated as if it were managed by conventional banks. DeFi platforms were required by the regulation to function as brokers, which included gathering personal data, monitoring transactions, and reporting all information to the government. The issue, however, is this. There are no intermediaries at DeFi. It is open and unrestricted. Well, that's the main idea. Attempting to fit it into a mold made for banks then, it just didn't fit. Quite frankly, it frightened a lot of folks away. Recently, even Lucy, the chief marketer for Shiba Inu, dissected it. According to her, this regulation is significant, particularly for DeFi's future. Even basic websites and developers would have been compelled to behave like regulated organizations, gathering names and keeping track of deals, obeying guidelines that just don't fit DeFi's methodology. For a cause, many were concerned. Open-source crypto programs could have become something they weren't intended to be because of that regulation. It's gone now, however. Who stands to gain the most from this, you ask? Shiba Inu. One of the cryptocurrencies with the most DeFi initiatives is Shiba Inu. When you think about it, SHIBASWAP contributed to its visibility. Project Berry provides a means for individuals to stake and profit. Karma Points, which just started, is another example that is attracting attention. The mechanism incentivizes users to participate. And such a thing, it attracts new investors in droves. Shiba Inu now have a lot more space. It's about what can be developed next, not simply what has already been constructed. New features, tools, and upgrades are now possible without having to worry about getting caught up in government red tape. That is a huge win-win. Developers are allowed to develop, but what about the community? We get the rewards of all that ingenuity, Consider the speed at which Shiba Inu may now implement improvements. The options are now much greater, whether it's extending Shibarium, releasing additional tools, or improving staking incentives. And you are aware that in this community, enthusiasm quickly spreads when new upgrades are released. Everything here adds up to one thing. Shiba Inu are in a good position to act. You may even be able to shake off some of those zeros that everyone is talking about. We've seen that before too. Shiba Inu tend to move quickly after significant changes. The group went into a frenzy, and investors are now physically bringing out calculators to calculate out how much Shiba Inu they would need to realize their million-dollar goal. Everyone seems to be pursuing that golden number, and who can blame them, given the current buzz. Crypto Basic reports that researchers at Changelly believe the price of Shiba Inu may increase significantly by the conclusion of 2028. Prior to that, in May 2024, an expert by the name of Big Mike predicted that Shiba Inu would get even more insane. Many folks have long had the notion that their Shiba Inu luggage would one day fetch a cool $1 million. The problem is that they've been doing the math. In order to realize that $1 million fantasy, almost 11 billion tokens would be required if Shiba Inu were to rise to that more modest long-term estimate. However, it would only need around 2 billion if it were to meet Big Mike's more difficult aim. That may seem like a lot, but it's really very feasible to make that type of investment given how cheap Shiba Inu are right now. As of right moment, it would cost you little over $100K to get that 11 billion. It may not be much, but if the cost reaches the anticipated level, it might become $1 million. Additionally, if you're aiming for the higher cost estimate, you might lock in 2 billion coins for less than $25,000. We're talking about an extraordinarily high return if that audacious prediction comes to pass. Hold on, however, before we all get swept up in the excitement, there is something we must think about. The crypto world goes wild whenever a major upgrade like this is released. Emotions run high, the excitement starts, and everyone is either frantically trying to get in or very bullish. The issue is that these are also times when the shady characters show up. For this reason, the Shiba Inu development team took action and sent out a community message. Just a friendly reminder to be vigilant and watchful. Lucy, the chief marketing for Shiba Inu, just tweeted this. She emphasized the need of thinking independently, making your own decisions, and not relying on someone to act as your nanny when it comes to cryptocurrency. Because the moment you begin to believe that someone else will handle everything, you are already one step too close to falling victim to fraud. Lucy was blunt about it. Crypto, she said, is not a little safe playground. It is quick, brutal, and yes, it is unapologetic. It costs you a lot when you make a mistake. You get a lesson, and it will most likely hurt. In actuality, nobody is in need of your assistance. People don't owe you advice. She even contributed a humorous yet genuine element. It's okay if you're still getting things straight. If necessary, start a crypto kindergarten of your own. However, don't con others in the process. Be truthful, be inquisitive, and never stop learning. That being said, this is an exciting occasion. However, avoid letting the enthusiasm impair your judgment. Keep your mind sharp, keep safe, and stay loyal to the path. However, when considering the wider situation, the future of Shiba Inu is really looking more promising than before. The tempo is causing everything to move. Announcements like these, the ecosystem's growth, and these upgrades. Something massive seems to be being constructed just in front of us. It's more than just buzz, too. Lucy recently tweeted it herself. According to her, Shiba Inu is doing well. When the reverse occurs, it will be swift. Indeed, see the current state of affairs. Right now, how much is it now worth? When compared to the actual work being done by this initiative, it is modest. There are people sleeping on it. Not that they're listening, but who are they? They can glimpse the future. They are observing the alignment of all the signs. Because Shiba Inu aren't only passive, it is evolving, it is constructing, it is changing. Shibarium is developing. Tools, technology, and ideas are being released by the team. The society, it remains one of the strongest. And now there's actual breathing space since those previous restrictions aren't as strict. So yes, it may not seem explosive at the moment, but below it, they're warming up the engine. The enthusiasm is growing. There is already a basis. When the change occurs, it can be one of those times when people look back and say, that was it, that marked a sea change. Therefore, don't put it off, because Shiba Inu is not finished yet. We're just beginning. But how do you feel about this? Post a comment below. The day is over now. Remember to give it a big thumbs up to see our most recent material, share it, and subscribe to the channel.